Said I'd be cracking on Wednesday. I said I'd be chatting with Antwyn Jackson. That is the truth. I am going to be, but we're not going to be talking Alex Pajeda. We're going to be talking someone else. Antwyn, thanks for joining me today, man. And we are going to be chatting Payton Talbott. This kid, man. Holy crap. But before we get going, how's your day going, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm getting ready for the 4th of July weekend, starting early, some barbecue and stuff. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Well, this will drop on Wednesday, July 3rd. Tomorrow, July 4th. You say 4th of July weekend, you barbecues, family stuff, kid friendly. How hard you
hmm
going to go, man?
I'm gonna go as hard as I can, as hard as humanly possible. That's what we're gonna try to do.
Nice. Before and I guess also before we get going, what you have going on these days, man? I mean, I've seen Making the Walk really pushing the live stuff. Just let the viewership
hmm
know what you've been doing over there on Making the Walk YouTube channel.
So the Making the Walk channel is it's really starting to really pick up. We, like you said, we started to do some lives. We do lives every Tuesday on Making the Walk. So a variety, it basically whatever happened that weekend, that's what we're going to be talking about. With the smallest thing to the biggest thing, we kind of let the inmates run the asylum. So whatever about everybody wants to talk about, we kind of bring those things up. So it's a good time. It's fun. We go about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it's a lot of fun. But we're still releasing content as well. Just dropped one about what Chat GPT thinks the goat
I
is.
saw that. I liked it, man. I
Yeah,
liked it.
yeah. Yeah, that one was cool. That was a lot of fun. That was a
Coming
lot
up
of
with
fun.
that's the thing is, finding a niche and coming up with ideas that other people haven't already done. And I actually did see a video though of people talking, about there's millions of YouTube videos, billions of YouTube videos out there. So obviously someone's probably done the same thing as you. And that shouldn't stop you from doing it because throwing your own twist on it can still
hmm
be you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And that's what makes YouTube so challenging because there's so many people that are like-minded. But the thing is like I feel like we all can eat. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
we can all figure out ways to be successful. We don't have to, steal or try to take, other things because everybody has their own perspective and their own products. So, and I'm trying to do the same thing with making the walk. I think we're doing a pretty good job at it too.
Continuing to grow, man. And so let's talk Peyton Talbot, this guy, UFC 303, 19-second performance. I'm wearing this shirt. I didn't realize it. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And guess what? Merry Christmas to us because Peyton Talbot, that kid is the real deal. 25 years old, 9 and 0. If we look at
Yeah.
his, if we look at, take a do this screen share here and we look at his record, this kid is 9 and 0. He's on since amateur days, I guess, a 14 fight winning streak. He's 25 years old.
hmm
He's fighting out of, the best place to train and compete and fight in Vegas. He's got 7 knockouts, a submission, a decision. Like this kid is the real deal. And you look at this 19-second first round victory against Yanni Gamori at UFC 303. Biggest card in a long time, since UFC 300, I'd say.
Yeah.
Round two,
Yeah.
straight left to ground punches against Cameron Simon. Like, holy crap, rear naked choke. And then his contender series. And you know what? The funniest thing is his contender series fight was arguably the one that, like, a lot of people are like, okay, he got a unanimous decision. But he got himself there. And he's all over the media. He's all over the internet. He's on Ariel's
hmm
show every chance he gets, basically. This kid is the
Yeah.
real deal. And I think it might be tough to find him fights against anyone that's wanting to progress their career because he's scary as hell, man.
hmm Yeah. I feel like he's gonna kind of have a Hamza Chimaev-esque type of thing where people are trying to avoid him moving up. They have kind of a similar level of record when Hamza started to break into, I want to fight people in the top 15 type of situation. And Peyton's call out was of somebody in the top 15 and Adrian Yanez. which that fight, that's
Let's hold off
hard.
on that a little bit. We'll talk about that in a
Oh,
few seconds here. But
yeah,
yeah, like go keep going. Say what you were saying,
yeah.
but
But I think that his authenticity is what kind of sticks out to me. Um, his ability, like when I saw him in the press conference afterwards, the post-fight press conference, he was just authentic. He was just himself, answering questions as himself, unlike other, young superstars in the making, like John Jones when he broke out, he was portraying somebody else. And Peyton's not that. He's being authentically himself. And I really like that about him. And kind of his quirks and his skateboarding and the
yeah,
pole
and
dancing, everything.
skateboarding up until basically the a few days before the fight, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I tried to find as many interviews that I could on the kid, and there's not a ton out there, to be honest with you, other than Ariel. There was one with this YouTube channel that I found where he was playing Guess Who for the UFC fighters, and I mean, pretty cool that he did that. It must have been a friend of his that he was doing it with, but this kid
Hmm.
didn't even know what MMA was until
Yeah.
even like a few years ago, man. So to have the natural God given talent, like he seems like a guy that, you put him in a boxing ring, you could put him on a lacrosse court. Like you said, you were talking about disc golf earlier off air. You put some discs in his hand. He seems like a kid that could probably do just about anything.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just athletically and motor skills, his hand-eye coordination, and his willingness to just try things. I think a lot of that does come from the skateboarding. He doesn't care about failing because he knows if he doesn't try it, it's never going to happen. So he might as well try. I saw, different positions that he was in. He would, I can't remember which fight it was, but he kind of did a backflip out of it. It may have been his Contender Series fight. He did a backflip out of a position. I'm like, dude, this dude is wild, but
Yeah,
it's translating to wins.
it's crazy. Like he will be on the main card his next fight for sure. Like he's got the excitement factor, he's got the marketability. We look at this, the finish, like 19 seconds. There's not even much to take away from this. He landed a leg kick,
Right.
he landed a couple punches, and he said to Ariel that he was actually surprised. Actually, it might have been Ariel, it might have been Full Send. I think it was Ariel. He said that he was surprised that this shot stopped him because he didn't even think he hit him too hard. I mean,
Hmm.
when you're finishing people with what you don't think is your strongest punch, that's scary.
Yeah, it is. It is. It reminds me so much of when Hamzat stopped GM3 with a very similar situation. He hit him and he was just like, "Oh, that's it? That's all we got?"
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know, man. He's scary, but in the most entertaining way. It's
That's the
not like a
thing is it's
boogeyman
not
scary.
boring and it's not and the thing is although I guess we haven't seen him against competition of the utmost level, Hamza guys didn't want to fight him and it became tough. I feel the same way with this kid, like I said earlier. Do you think, like as we said, okay, the call out. He talked to Joe Rogan and he called
Hmm.
out Adrian Yanez. Do you think Yanez would take this fight? Is the thing.
Um, he would outwardly say that he would take anybody that calls him out, but in respect to his career, I feel like he wouldn't take it. Like if I'm Adrian, I would only take it if the circumstances is met. But like if I had my choice, I'm fighting up. He's coming. Adrian's coming off a win. He had the losses that he had, but he's coming off of a win, and I know that he wants to move into fighting serious contenders at this point. And if I'm him, I don't know if I would take that. But I mean, who else is Peyton going to call out? The bantamweight division is so deep. There's so many people that are not even ranked that I think would be amazing fights for him. Um, so I mean, there's options, but Adrian is not a bad shout for him. I don't fault him for calling Adrian out.
I think it was a smart call out. And if we do look at the UFC rankings page, Adrian Yanez actually fell out of the rankings. So
Yeah.
he's not in the top 15 at this point. If we look at his Tapology page here, like you said, coming off of a victory. He had two defeats before that victory, but he was riding a hell of a streak prior to that. And you
Hmm.
can't fault a guy for losing to Rob Font or Jonathan Martinez, two
Nope.
definitely like arguably contenders in the division. So a call out of Yanez was not just was not just smart on his point, or not just uh like a guy that he called out. It was seemingly brilliant, man. Just as good as his fighting skill, that call out makes even more sense,
Yeah,
judging by who Yanez has fought. So if he goes out there and he does get this victory over Adrian Yanez, then that propels him to, he will definitely fight someone in the top 15 next, because Yanez is just on the brink.
absolutely, absolutely. And what I was also thinking was, if he were to fight Adrian Yanez, like, what placement on the card would that be? I know that they're both not ranked, but I feel like that would be a really good co-main of a fight night. So that's even more publicity, even more prestige, to go into, hit on his resume, moving forward. So like, it was really a no brainer. Like, it made a lot of sense. Saeed Nurmagomedov was another person that I had in my mind that he could have called out, that would have also helped his cause. I think Saeed has a fight, but um, yeah, I think that he did the right thing by calling him out. I don't know if Adrian's going to take it though.
True, and differing styles too, right? Like
Hmm.
obviously a guy like um let me get this photo back up here. A guy like, Said Nurmagomedov, it's tough style to fight against when we haven't seen that side of Payton Talbot, and that might be interesting, but I don't think we need to see that stylistic matchup just yet. And Adrian Yanez is going to go out there and he's going to throw and he's going to bang with this kid,
Yeah, he
and
is.
that's what we need to see again, because when you're making your debut, not like your main card debut, um, marketability is key, and we want to see the most exciting Peyton Talbot fight out there, and Adrian Yanez is definitely that. So let me ask you this then: if he were to beat Adrian Yanez, we've got the top 15 here, and we've got, Pedro Munoz at 15, Martinez at 14, Cruz, who likely won't fight, but Mario Bautista, Kyler Phillips, which I think is an interesting fight for him as well. The Kyler Phillips fight, 11. So if he were to beat Adrian Yanez, how long will it take him to get to that top 10 potential, as we are midway through 2024 right now? And do you think he does have championship material in him in this division, even though he is so young in his game?
I think so. To the first question, as far as like how long, I think it really does depend on the fights that he takes, but I think that the UFC would want to see how he's a perfect foil for somebody like Sean O'Malley. That's a perfect B side to his A side, and that's assuming that Sean would be there. But I think that it would take him 2 to 3 fights if he were to go on a streak. Like, he beats Adrian Yanez, the next fight is going to be in the 10 to 15 range, if not higher,
Yep.
depending on if somebody falls out. He's got to stay available for anybody to drop out of a fight, and he can just step right in. But he could really be fast tracked up to the top, a la Cody Garbrandt, and just move right on up there and be facing somebody at the top with a 11-0, 12-0 record. It's that
100%.
close
And you
for
know
him.
what? You look at the rankings, and let me throw them up here then, because like if you look at these, everybody that he would fight in that division, other than say someone like Henry Cejudo, or maybe, I guess, maybe Umar Nurmagomedov, but you look at these guys and Marab, but that's like I can't see them matching him up with him at any point here unless Marab beats Sean O'Malley. But
Hmm.
any other guy in here is stylistically a matchup for Peyton Talbot. They're going to
Yeah.
stand, they're going to bang, and if they get him to the ground, they're not just going to hold him there. It's going to be a fun matchup. So you look at this list of top 15, and even just top 10. or top 5, and this kid definitely could be fast tracked, like you say. Him and Sean O'Malley against each other, boy, oh boy, that like the marketability, not just the fight itself, but like that would be a fun one. You can't hate on
Hmm.
it, that's for sure. And
No, no.
Sean would have a tough test against this kid, I think, man.
Yeah, you throw that fight in either you could do it in Vegas. You could also do it in California. Either way, in Anaheim, either one of those places, it would be massive because of the following and just the persona that Payton has, and of course how massive Sean is in the MMA circles. Like it's a California guy's dream type of fight. Like I would
100%.
love to see that.
All right, Antoine, we don't need to talk much else. That does it. And just let people know, like, obviously, we think Peyton's going to get fast tracked here. So let me know what you got on the fast track. You've been doing stuff, as you said earlier, the lives.
Hmm.
What's next for you on the MMA walk as we go forward this week?
So this week, got a few more lives. I'm really trying to get ready for this Tracy Cortez Rose Namajunas fight, and got a little bit of content coming out for that, kind of previewing the fight. So if you haven't subscribed, you definitely should subscribe to Making the Walk.
All right, folks, that does it for us. Another edition of MMA Sucka with Antwyn Jackson. Today we talked Payton Talbott. This kid is the next big star in the UFC bantamweight division. Heck, he's the next star in the UFC. Make sure you check out Slappies. Make sure you follow us, like us, subscribe, comment, do all that other jazz. I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.